and today's Shot Tech Tuesday tip is answering a question which is going to be the new norm for these videos. Question is, what kind of medical gear should you have, whether in a personal or professional capacity? So there's two halves to that coin. There's the first aid, and then there's the IFAK or Stop the Bleed kits. Going on to the Stop the Bleed kit, the training for that is going to be the Stop the Bleed program coming out of the Department of Homeland Security, which most of your local hospitals, especially your urban ones, will teach. So the Stop the Bleed training is going to be for free, which is really awesome. And your first aid, CPR, AED for peds and adults and babies is going to be through Red Cross. This is my first aid kit. It's a Rothko bag. This is the one that lives in my car, and how you see it is how it lives in my car. I do blue for the first aid kit, and I do red for the Stop the Bleed kit. Inside the kit, at the top, I always just place a generic first aid that you can pick up at your local pharmacy. And then within that, I have everything labeled on this kit so that anyone can use it. My advice is set up your gear where it's accessible. So if it's in your car, do it in the car doors, in the little compartments in the car doors, or do it in behind the headrests, behind your passenger seat, things like that. That way everyone else knows where it is. In your kitchen, do it atop the refrigerator, do it in a cabinet somewhere that's accessible. For your business, do it under a desk or in the break room, that kind of thing. That way it's always accessible. It's not like you're going to resell this thing, so go ahead and mark it up how you want it. That way it's accessible. So you're going to set it up and then you're going to forget all about it, but it's going to be on top of that refrigerator, and then when you need it, you don't want to open up every pocket looking for what you want. So Band-Aids are in here, in a little case where you can see it's transparent. You can see what Band-Aids you need. Gauze, pads, 4x4 compress bandages, ACE, you know, things like that. It's not an unboxing video, but you get the idea. So you label it with a Sharpie, and as you change pockets and reorganize, you just cross it out and then relabel it. That's the first aid. So moving on to your Stop the Bleed, I have two kits here. This one is set up with Velcro and Molly, and it's set up on the hook and loops back here, or not the hook and loops, the Molly here, and then it's on a Velcro panel here. This is a shotgun placard, and so it's just Velcro on the back. And the idea here is, here I have a plate carrier, which is my road rage carrier, and this has Velcro on the front, so it looks like a briefcase. But then as I unfurl it, this is what it looks like, and then I can stick that on there if I want to. And likewise, if I'm dealing in an active shooter situation and I'm working security or something like that, and I can always take this off and throw it to somebody too. So if I asked anyone to go grab my first aid kit out of my car, they would obviously know that this is it, and it's segmented in red and blue. Blue for first aid, red for Stop the Bleed, which you know because of the patch. Not a fan of this patch because this can be construed as first aid, but you know, there's no aspirin in here. This is your Stop the Bleed. This is based on the March algorithm. Not going to get too much into that, but essentially you have your tourniquet, and back here you have your one of these hyphen vent seals, chest seals. You have some simple gauze here. These are your gloves. And then down here, you also have your trauma bandage in here. So one of these will go on my belt. One of these I have behind the headrest in my car. And you want to have all your gear where you will need it. I have seen some people who pride themselves on emergency preparedness get the gear, and whether they get their training or not, different story, but they get the gear and they don't stage it where it will be used. They put it with like their emergency preparedness supplies, like a water filter or something. You want these where you will use it. So that's in your desk, in your backpack, in part of your everyday carry, in your car in an accessible place, above the refrigerator, in the kitchen, in the office, you name it. And you want multiple of these. Soon I'll add an identical one right here because this just carries one tourniquet. If you get shot, let's say in the leg, it serves the reason that you may be shot in more than one extremity. There's nothing that guarantees you that you're going to have a puncture wound in one single extremity, and there's nothing that guarantees that when there's that kind of injury that it's only going to be one casualty. So it's kind of like more the merrier. So I can have both of these set up like this. That would be pretty great. I like the Velcro because I can peel it off, set it by the casualty, use it, or I can throw it. And it's just really nice. So, some other tips and tricks, again, not an unboxing video, sort of an answer to the question, what should you have? I got this from North American Rescue on a Black Friday deal. This I believe I got from North American Rescue. The tourniquets are the cat tourniquet, and then beyond that it's just kind of various kinds of gauze and trauma bandages. That's pretty much it. There's a Sharpie that's supposed to go here. I don't know why it's missing. So one deals with massive hemorrhaging, which is a most common preventable cause of death, massive hemorrhaging. That can be at your extremities, your junctures like your hips, and then of course your core. And then you have boo-boos, band-aids, headaches, sprains, twisted ankles, ticks, splinters, that kind of thing. Bug bites, you name it, light burns. So you need to be prepared for both. Have them staged where you will need them, mark them, identify them, have good patches or identifiers so that people know what they need. You definitely don't want to be in a situation where you need a stop the bleed kit and someone throws one of these at you. When you get your kit, it will come with empty space, just like these do. And the reason for that is you need to put in here what you will need based on seasonal conditions, your local environment. If you are, let's say on a boat, you may be dealing with gross, dirty water. So it serves the reason that if you get a cut, it's going to be covered in gross water. Or if you're in a hot, humid environment, or you're in an area where you're dealing with lots of fires, things like that, then you'll want more of a focus on burns. If you're around water, you want more of a focus on antiseptics, things like that. For me, what's most common is people using simple Band-Aids, people asking for medication related to headaches, and then bug bite stings, some sort of itch relief, and splinters. Having nice metal scissors. These typically come with plastic ones that never work. So a tick kit or a proper metal splinter. And then I also recommend just having water in your kits because hydration is so common and there's so much you can do with water relating to flushing and things like that. But that's pretty much it. Two halves to the coin. Your first aid, which comes from your CPR, AED, and first aid for peds, adults, and babies course from the Red Cross. And then you have your Stop the Bleed, your Department of Homeland Security Stop the Bleed, which is taught for free at local hospitals. I hope this was helpful to you. I'm Grant Schmidt of ShotTech LLC.